Welcome everybody to Deadball TV. Today we're going to be talking about the biggest storylines with AFCON 2023. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I'm joined once again by my dear friend Chua Coley. Thank you for coming back on the channel.
My pleasure.
I'm tempted to start with Nigeria. I really am tempted to start with Nigeria, but I think let's warm up a little bit and then we'll get into the Super Eagles. I think the first big storyline that we want to talk about, and you guys know that this has been mentioned a ridiculous amount lately, and that is Morocco, right? Because Morocco had that Cinderella run at the World Cup, and I think a big storyline that the entire world, not just Africa, is going to be paying attention to is, can they validate that World Cup success? Can they validate all the attention that the Atlas Lions have now gotten since making that run? What do you think about Morocco? Because I know you're a fan of the coach, you're a fan of the team. You think that they'll do it?
Yeah. I mean, Walid is a great coach. He proved himself at the World Cup. And most of the guys he had for that World Cup, they're still together. So that translates to probably they are better because all their players are playing well.
Right.
So I think they will make noise. They may not take the cup, but they'll make a lot of noise. Because why I say that is, having come from the World Cup, being like they got to the place where they were like the best four in the world, that puts a target on their back. Right. So everybody that runs into them will bring all their A game against them. So it will be a more difficult journey for them to the cup than it will have if they had not done that at the World Cup. So that will make it more, it's like an uphill task for them to get the cup because everybody will be ready for them. But given the quality of the players they have, all the players that are doing very well right now, and all their players are doing well. Ziyech, all of them.
At least most of them,
Yeah, most of them are doing well. So I expect them to really make a lot of noise to the point that they could get to the finals. But I'm not one to make bets on who wins the cup, but I don't think they will.
Yeah, I don't really think they will either. And I feel like the biggest reason is exactly what you just said. When I think of Morocco, y'all let us know in the comments where you see Morocco going out. I think they will make... I'd be shocked if they didn't make the quarterfinals.
Yes.
I'd be shocked.
Yes.
But I think in the semifinals, I don't know. I just think they could get caught out. And like you said, it's not going to be AFCON 2021 or in the past where the biggest target is Senegal or Algeria. I mean, Algeria was probably the biggest target. At the last AFCON, they went out in the group.
Morocco is the biggest target now.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because everybody will lie in wait for them. It will be like an ambush.
Yeah.
No, they'll be ambushed.
For real. Like, I don't know if you've seen this online, but I definitely have, where it's like Senegal are the defending champions, but the favorites are Morocco, according to most people. Yeah. Which is kind of strange.
Because people go by rankings.
Right.
Like a FIFA ranking puts them, I think, up there.
And probably 8th or something.
Yeah, right? And then just being in the top 4 at the World Cup is enough to really get everybody's attention. Yeah. So they're not going to have an easy ride. Yeah. For sure. But because of the quality of players they have, they will still push. They will still push far. But I don't see them, and I see an upset. It could happen maybe before the finals. Yeah. Because a lot of African teams now are ready for upsets. Yeah.
AFCON has minimum 2 upsets every turn.
Yeah.
Who almost beat? Was it Malawi that they were tied 1-1 last AFCON, and then Hakimi hits a free kick and they win? Free kick. Was that Malawi or was some not very good team?
Madagascar?
No, I don't think it was Madagascar, but it was a smaller team, and with that, outside of a moment of magic, Morocco were going to extra time.
Yeah, most African teams now have remarkable players who can change games. So we're no longer looking at African teams as like name, profile, country. We're now seeing them from this from the view of who is their key player. Most of them have key players that can change games. Yeah. So that's how things have, migrated from where all those minor teams were before to where they are now teams that can upset the favorites.
Yeah, I think that's where people who don't watch a lot of AFCON, which, by the way, hit subscribe because we're going to be doing some live streams for AFCON on the channel. And Shu, I'd love to have you back maybe before the final or something to do one last preview. If I can afford his hourly rate, we'll see.
Come on.
But people who don't watch AFCON, I don't think they understand that just because you have some star players in Europe doesn't mean you're going to win. I mean, we'll get to Nigeria later, but how many all-stars does Nigeria have? Look at Algeria. They were stacked at the last AFCON.
Right.
Senegal had needed multiple tries to win. Just because you have a guy playing for PSG and a guy playing for Ajax and a guy playing for wherever else does not mean that you're guaranteed to win. And I wanted to make this statement. You guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I was looking at all the tournament favorites, right? For the Euros, the Copa America, the Asian Cup, AFCON. I'm prepared to say that Morocco are under the most pressure of any of the favorites. I think they're under more pressure than Japan for the Asian Cup, probably Argentina for the Copa America, and who the heck is the favorite for the Euros? England? France?
France and
Portugal?
England.
Maybe?
Kind of.
I mean, the fact that there's multiple, kind of proves my point a little bit. I think Morocco are under this global pressure that I don't know if they've ever had that before.
I want to, circle back to one thing you said about when teams have great players and stars that do well all over the world, and then they come to the continental championships and they kind of lower their level or fizzle out. Part of it is because many of them lay premium of their career on what they do for their clubs.
Yeah.
They don't want to be injured. They know that the national team is prestigious. It's a life uplifting event that will make them happy forever and then bring glory to their countries. But at the same time, they want to keep their jobs in their clubs.
Yeah.
And they don't want to actually, unconsciously, they don't want to spend too much time in the tournaments. Otherwise, they will lose their place. If you heard Klopp joking about Mo going for Egypt in the AFCON, that he wishes they go out early so that Mo can come back and help him.
I'm sure.
Yes, so
I'm sure.
That's one thing. Another thing is infrastructure. Many of the pitches on the African continent are not up to the standard that you have, unfortunately. They are getting better, of course, but currently they are not as good. They are not as well maintained or designed to meet the standard of what these guys are used to playing. So some of these pitches are a little rocky, a little patchy. So every player that plays there is kind of exposing themselves to certain kinds of risks in terms of the surface that they play. So that's also another factor. So they take less risk, less tackles, and allow themselves to be tackled less if they can afford that. So all those things kind of inform their mindset about their productivity when they come to African tournaments. So they may not give their A game when they come over to Africa like they would when they're in Europe, where all the facilities or the grass is much better. So that's
a fascinating way to look at it that I've never really thought about until right now. So like imagine a team where most of the players do play in Europe, but maybe they're backups, right? I don't know, maybe Burkina Faso is like a good example, like a lot of European players, but few stars.
Exactly.
Maybe tournaments that happen in January, in the middle of the season, are actually beneficial for those teams because those guys don't have a spot to lose back in their club.
Exactly.
They're already on the bench.
Exactly.
So they're like,
I'm going to throw all my dice out there.
I am going to slide tackle everybody.
Exactly.
Wow, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. So
you're onto something here. I think you're onto something.
So they actually, on the surface, they want to give the best for their country. But it happens like within 2-3 weeks, and they still have like 11 months to be relevant to their clubs.
Right.
And they could have some good talent breathing down their neck in the same position. So if they leave for too long, that guy shines in 1 or 2 matches, it'd be hard to get his shirt or the position back. So that's one consideration. And then another thing is that most of these African countries are not well conditioned to manage the affairs of the players like they have in Europe. in terms of providing the first class
like accommodation,
resources
diet,
for them,
stuff like
accommodation,
that.
diet, psychologist, scout, aides, so many trainers, equipment, tools, kits, training facilities, grass, nice facility, so many things that they lack or that are minimized when they come to Africa. So all those things affect also their output because they are used to having all those things. Even the quality of the bench, the coaches, the quality of the coaches and support staff are diminished when they come down here. Not a knock on African standards, but that's the fact. So when these players come, they are not coming to bring their A game. They are coming like tourists to do the best they can within that space. And then when they go back, they hope to accomplish more over there because that's what sustains them. This Cup of Nations doesn't sustain them, doesn't pay their bills and take care of their family.
It might not pay anything.
Yeah, exactly. So most
cost
times they pay from out of their pocket to get there. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my
like
God.
Mikel did at the Olympics for all the other players, you know. So stuff like that.
It's wild. It's great. And I think you're right. I think we could go on about that for a while. Just to close the loop on Morocco. I think that they'll make a semifinal, and then I don't really know what will happen after that. Do you see them finishing in a similar spot in the tournament?
I think they will.
The group's kind of tough.
They will make the finals, but they will not take the trophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If they make the finals and lose, is that successful?
Don't bet money on my.
We're not affiliated with any
just
betting companies here.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just have a feeling as well that they don't they won't win. I don't know what it is. They could, and I think that'd be a great story. I don't want Morocco to lose. They haven't won since 1981. I think they have one AFCON all time, so they need to start getting some more trophies on the shelf. I think it would be a great story and super validating to go back to the topic about the World Cup. But I don't know. I do want to move on to the next thing because this is my narrative. All right, this is Jack's narrative for AFCON 2023. Could I be proven a fool? Absolutely. But it is Algeria, and I think Algeria are ready for a redemption run. I'll just lay out a couple facts here. 2021 AFCON disaster. They drew to Sierra Leone, then lost to Equatorial Guinea and got destroyed by Ivory Coast in the final game, finished fourth in the group, bounced out. And then they had that super narrow elimination to Cameroon at the World Cup. And because of that, they missed out on all that exposure. So I feel like getting eliminated in the group and not making it to the World Cup has caused the entire world to forget about Algeria, a team that was on, what was their unbeaten streak? Like 36 games or something?
Right, 33 or something, yeah.
It is ridiculous. So, since they lost to Cameroon, they played 19 games, 14 wins, 1 loss, 4 draws. They beat Senegal, Cape Verde, you guys, Nigeria, Guinea, Iran, and DR Congo. So they've taken out some pretty good teams recently. And again, I feel like people are, if they're not talking about Morocco, it's, Senegal might be able to do it again.
Right.
Nobody is talking about the Algerians, who have a very good starting 11 and a very good manager. Right. No one's talking about them as a potential winner. So for me, I think this is going to be the redemption arc. I don't know if you watch anime, but sometimes a character will like go through a redemption. They used to be a villain and they become a hero. That's what I think that their manager, Belmadi, is going to do with the national team. So y'all let me know what you think about that. But
yeah, Algeria is also, things change. I don't always want to go look at history. Somebody has never done this before, or this over 20 years they've not been able to do this. There could always be the first time, and the first time could always be now. I don't discount them because I believe they may not get there in the finals again, but it will not be because of lack of trying. It will be because of the quality of the other competitors.
Yeah.
So they've always been up there, but a lot of other people shifted. They moved up. So it wouldn't be like the time. They wouldn't be able to sustain those tricks they had right now.
Yeah.
Because every team is playing well. Every team has ingredients and condition that can spring surprise and take down a favorite.
Right.
So they are, overall, they're still a quality team, but other people got better.
Yeah. Other people have gotten better.
That's the challenge right now.
And I totally agree. For me, I think with Algeria, it's that ability to be, one, a good team, because they are a very good team.
Yes.
And two, move in the shadows. Again, there's no target on Algeria. The target is Morocco and Sadio Mane. Yeah, that's who's got the target right now. Aliou Cisse. Those guys have the targets. Algeria, Ivory Coast, even as the host, I don't really seem to be talking about them. I mean, Ghana, Nigeria, y'all are such like populous countries, and you speak English, so there's always expectations on Nigeria and Ghana, no matter what.
Right.
But I feel like Algeria will be able to have a little bit of surprise
leeway.
A little bit of leeway.
Yes, they will. But it depends on the path they're going to follow to that trophy.
Correct.
Yeah. It may be strewn with very stubborn competition.
Yeah. They do. Speaking of stubborn, they do have Angola in the group, and I don't know if you follow Angola, but they have like 0-0 draws every single game.
They're very tactful and stiff.
Yeah.
They don't just give in easy.
No, they don't score, but they don't let you score.
Yeah,
so that could be a pain in the ass. Burkina Faso, very good. Probably this is how I think about Burkina Faso. You have like the tiers of African powers, right? Tier 1, dare I say Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Morocco, Algeria, maybe Egypt. Yeah. Tier 2, Cameroon as well. I do want to throw Cameroon in there. Tier 2, I feel like, is like Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea, Tunisia, DR Congo,
Zimbabwe sometimes,
some Zambia at times were really damn good. I've always thought Burkina Faso are like that small, really good team that doesn't have a star.
And they do very well in the age group competitions.
Oh, do they for the like U23s and everything?
Yes, they do very well there, and that's the core place that forms big players for the future.
Are they francophone, Burkina Faso?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just another one. I mean, they made it to the semifinals last AFCON. Nobody even brings these guys up.
They're also like a sleeper team in Africa. They can surprise you when you least expect that. Yeah. You don't give them the credit, but they spring surprise on you.
The next major storyline that definitely needs attention is Nigeria, and I've been asking myself this question for the past couple weeks. I'm sure you have as well, and all the Super Eagle fans out there, and that's, what version of Nigeria are we going to see at this AFCON? Because on paper, you got a great team. On the pitch, though, things have been looking rough.
Well, you're going to see the rough. Not the paper.
Yeah, no.
Those paper tigers.
Throw it away. Yeah. Oh my God.
Always on paper. Like, the expectation is up here, but the outcome is always less than the expectation. So there are several factors which we always talked about. The coaching staff.
Oh gosh.
It's kind of like abysmal.
Yeah, it is abysmal. Yes, that's a nice way to put it.
It's abysmal. And it's devastating when you match it with the potential of what these guys can do. Look at what they do at their clubs. Look at the individual quality in every position Nigeria has. And then you kind of match it to that. There's a divergent outcome that is befuddling. You can't believe it.
No.
Yeah. So it's always the same thing. The coaching staff, the administrative staff, NFF, and the presidencies and things that happened before that got us here. Everything is connected. The decision you make in 1970 is connected to the outcome you're seeing today.
Yeah.
You can't isolate what's happening today from the decisions that were made not too far away from here. One of the stakeholders, I think is the chairman of one of the Gombe United in Nigeria, said that one of the biggest mistakes they made was hiring this guy. So a moment of enlightenment is coming to some of them. It wasn't a right decision. It's...
No, definitely.
Yeah. So the coaching staff is not at the same level with the players.
No.
Yeah. The players are world class.
Yes.
The coaching staff are not.
Yes. The coaching staff, I said
not knocking on them. They have their level. They belong to certain spaces, but not this. So it will always plague them. Too much of expectation, and people don't see it. They look at Osimhen, they look at Boniface, and they imagine the cup is coming. There are other things. Other things that factor in. Osimhen can't just go in there and grab the cup and give it to you.
He can't just run and
So is a combination. It's like making a soup. You don't use only one ingredient. Okay, I have meat and vegetable. That's it. You throw in the meat and vegetable and water. It's not a good soup. You have to think about the oil, the spices, the salt, all the other things. Senegal figured that out. Egypt and North Africans are doing it. So it's a holistic approach. And then define your vision and then bring the people that will work with you to achieve that. They have not done it.
No.
So I wish it could be any other way other than despondency. That's what I feel.
How does you have one friend who's a diehard Super Eagles fan. What is he expecting?
He's always charmed.
Oh God.
By the current.
Not good.
Yeah, by the current accomplishments.
Was he charmed by that 2-0 loss to Guinea earlier today?
Well, he was devastated, obviously. But I always tell him.
His whole day ruined.
Yeah, minimize your expectation. Because if you look on the table what you have to make that soup, you don't have enough ingredients to take you to where you want to go. Your expectation is too high compared to what you're able to achieve with what you have. So I always tell him that. Last time I predicted, like with Uzoho in the post, nothing is going to be the same result. I don't have anything against the young man. He's gifted in certain things like reflexes, one-on-one, but his big flaw, which other teams have already noticed and they're exploiting, set pieces. That's his Waterloo. Each time he comes, he never fails to deliver in the negative.
It's just, I have to say, as a non-Nigerian, it is shocking sometimes to think that how many Nigerians are there? 225 million? At least 200
at least
million.
250.
Okay, 250. How is that the
heading
best?
up to actually getting very soon in the next 5 years? It's going to be 300 million.
I just don't understand how that's the best. I don't understand.
The people who make decisions don't make the right decision.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
hiring that coach wasn't the best decision they've made in.
No, absolutely not.
Accolades.
No, I was looking at Pesero's CV as Nigeria manager, and before losing to Guinea 2-0 today, you guys were unbeaten in 7 matches, which I was like, okay, on paper, that's a pretty good result.
Again, it depends on the opponent.
Horrible opponents.
Exactly.
With all due respect.
Exactly.
I mean, it was Zimbabwe, Sao Tome and Principe, Lesotho, Mozambique. Every time Pesero has played a decent team, not even good, decent, it's a draw or a loss.
Exactly.
And, I mean, you guys have
It's not from lack of talent.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's from lack of doing the right things outside of talent. Yeah.
So in my prediction video, I think Nigeria will finish 3rd in the group. I think Equatorial Guinea will finish 2nd.
I think you're being. Oh, you mean like in the group?
In
okay,
the group.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the group.
I still think they'll go through.
Right.
I think they'll beat the worst team.
Yeah.
Possibly draw Equatorial Guinea and then lose to Ivory Coast.
Yeah. Unless, because there's also this factor, which may happen sometimes, the individual quality of a player can change a game beyond what the coach planned. So if that happens, if someone like Osimhen or some other player does something out of the ordinary and then leave them up, that's the only consoling factor that I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
But if I'm to judge them based on like the tactical, the strategy, the approach, they're not going to qualify. Yeah.
I think there will be one moment at this AFCON, one goal from Nigeria that is pure individual brilliance.
Pure magic, yeah.
Like Osimhen jumps over 3 defenders and headers it top corner, or I don't know, maybe Alex Iwobi with a free kick or something like that.
Like when they played, when they beat Cameroon 4-1 in one of the qualifying series, and it was just the players that went into the dressing room and decided, we're going to go back there and do something great. Yeah. Same thing with what they did in Ukraine. They were beating Ukraine 2-0. It was a masterclass. It was a football clinic I haven't seen before. And then they went into the dressing room, and their coach then kind of beat them down or whatever. And then they came out and conceded 2 goals. So the players also, they're a factor in what will happen. But again, they are affected by a lot of things we don't see, by what they encounter, their logistics, the resources, the support. All those things affect them that we don't know.
The expectations.
Yeah. And they are being owed a lot of money.
I'm sure.
Even if you're the richest man in the world, you don't want someone to owe you $1. It's depressing. So pay them what they deserve. What you tell them you're going to pay them. Pay them. It doesn't matter if they're wealthy. It doesn't matter. So all those things checking into the pot of soup that they make. The outcome is always affected by all those things that we don't see. So, but overall, because of the poor quality of the coaching staff and the poor quality of the administrative support, I don't expect them. I've always, in the past few months and things, I've always minimized my expectations. So I'm doing the same right now. But I want to be proved wrong. Hey,
protecting yourself.
Yes. I want to come out and say, okay, I was wrong. That's what I want. I want to come out later on and they progress and win the championship or whatever. And I will say, yes, I was wrong. I'm happy to be wrong.
Yeah. Oh, I totally understand that. It kind of it reminds me in a way loosely of Morocco at the last AFCON under Halilhodžić. Like the players didn't really like him that much, and he was like a decent manager but not great, and they ended up losing to Egypt in the quarterfinals.
Right.
But I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't even know if Nigeria will make the quarterfinals, because if they finish third, that means they're going to face off against one of the group winners, which would likely be, I don't know, it could be Senegal.
Yeah,
and then, I mean, it's done. I think there.
You're just done. Yeah.
I hate to say it. You guys let us know in the comments where you think Nigeria's going to finish. There's a little sub-topic that's bubbling around Twitter, and I don't know if I totally understand it, and it's about Mo Salah. And it's, can Mo Salah finally get his hand on an AFCON trophy? I guess we'll start, let's break this discussion down into 2 parts. Number 1, can he get his hands on an AFCON trophy? Part 2, does it matter? So let's start with part 1. Can Egypt win the 2023 AFCON?
Yes, they can.
I think they can too.
They can. But Mo Salah is not one, I think, that has that as the thing that will crown his career. He's already one of the most celebrated players.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I don't think, personally, he will want to use that as a marker to crown his career, that look, I finally got that. I don't think so. The things he's been doing, I wouldn't say is more than the AFCON, but it's gotten him enough accomplishments that if he doesn't get this, it doesn't really matter.
I agree. I thought of this. For me, I always like to use basketball references because that's what I came up on.
Yeah.
It's when LeBron won it with the Cavs.
Right.
It was special and it meant something. But if that never happened,
he
still has 3 rings.
He still has. He's still been in conversation for Ballon d'Or.
Yes.
FIFA best player, all those
Absolutely.
things. So those things.
The world best 11.
Exactly. All those things is still up there.
Champions League, Premier League.
So he doesn't rely on that trophy of African competitions to validate himself. It's not like Messi needing the World Cup to put a cap to his career. Salah, I don't think, needs that. He has the cast because they're good.
Yes.
They're good.
The cohesion is ridiculous.
Yes.
On that team.
He has a great cast around him.
Yeah.
But they're not the favorite. Anything can happen. And I don't think he will cry if they don't get it. The World Cup might even be better for him than the African Nations Cup, because
I kind of think Mo Salah compared to Messi is a little protected when it comes to this winning a trophy with your country type thing, because Argentina are just absolutely stacked.
Yes.
And Egypt aren't.
Yes,
and also,
exactly.
the Copa America has 10 teams in it.
Right.
African Cup of Nations,
has
what do you have, 55? And then you have to
53.
qualify to it. It's a different beast.
Yes.
And with Messi,
tough.
you had teams like Chile winning it twice in a row under your nose. Uruguay 2011.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know who like the worst AFCON winner was recently. I mean, the last few have been Senegal, Algeria, Cameroon, Ivory Coast. Those are all like really good teams, It's I don't think you can look at any of those teams and be like, Egypt should have won. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I think it's different. I agree with you completely. I don't think he needs an AFCON, but I'm also not Egyptian, so I don't know what his own country folk are saying about that. I'm sure
not that he doesn't need it to cap off his career.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs it, but not to cap off his career. Just like Messi needed the World Cup to really put the final nail in his career and say that's it.
Yeah.
So Mo Salah can still be who he is. Mo Salah, the world adores. Without.
I just thought of this. I do think the one thing it would be really good for him is the greatest African of all time debate. I think if he gets an AFCON, I think that really helps him in the George Weah, JJ Okocha
in that conversation.
Debate. Yeah,
but remember, some of the people some of the people like George Weah who still occupy that rarefied environment of being the best. They didn't win the AFCON.
Played for Liberia. That was
exactly.
That would have been crazy.
The good thing is that the football world, acclaims you not only because you won with your country. They can tell. It's just like in basketball. Iverson is very revered.
Yeah,
he never won the ring, but everybody knew that this guy is up here.
That's a really good comparison.
Exactly. So same thing. He doesn't have to win that to still be up there as in the competition of the greatest African players who ever played the game, like Okocha. Okocha didn't win the African Footballer of the Year, but he's still up there.
Right.
So it depends. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be very overexcited to win it.
Oh, yeah. I think it would be relief.
Yeah,
I saw an interview with Yaya Toure, and they were asking him what it felt like when he finally won AFCON, and they were like, "Are you really happy?" And he was like, "No, it was just relief."
Really?
Like, I felt like he was like, thank God I did it.
Yeah.
It was like a woo. Well, I got that out of the way. Now people won't think I let the country down, type thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Egypt have not been starved like these other countries.
7 AFCONs.
Exactly. So they may not be like, Mo Salah has to get it for us. Mo Salah has to win. So that's a different context. So I don't see him as thirsty as Yaya Toure or some other person.
Right. It's not going to be the same impact as like Sadio Mane winning it for Senegal when it's like, oh my gosh.
Exactly. So, and then again, he already is existing in the rarefied space of world football.
Right.
So he's not really thirsty or conditioned to get that in order to be acclaimed.
Yeah.
He's already acclaimed.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right. Okay, no, that's a good one. You guys let us know in the comments how you think about that. I do want to move on. When we talk about, I know you don't like doing predictions. These aren't bets. Don't place these. But
don't bet on me.
Don't bet on Netball TV. Hey, these are just our opinions.
Right.
When you think of the big teams at AFCON, and you had to say a big team that's going out first, who do you think it's going to be? You could have multiple nominees if that's easier.
Going out first, that's putting me on the spot.
Would you like me to go first?
No, I'll do that.
Okay.
I'd say...
because I got one in the chamber.
Yeah. I'd say Cameroon.
Ooh. You know what? I really like that pick. Why? Why do you think Cameroon?
They have a lot of crisis going on within the team. Things going on with Onana and all these things. It's very distracting.
Yeah.
So those distractions can matter at that level. So if they're able to resolve that, because I hear he's gonna play for Man U and then fly within
the next day,
then all those things will make the other players. Why is this so important? Why are you giving him that kind of preference? And the things going on with Eto'o and him and things like that. And so that internal distraction is something that could throw teams off, make them lose concentration.
Yeah.
So that's my thinking now.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope they overcome it.
Yeah.
I'm not wishing them that. Anyway, I just like.
I know you're a big Anguissa fan, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Anguissa is my.
Yeah. He's a beast. No.
Oh my gosh.
I love that guy too. Look, I don't. And Mbeumo is one of my favorite footballers, but he won't be playing at AFCON because he got hurt. I've been saying this about Cameroon, and I don't know anybody who watches enough African football to have this discussion with, but I feel like they have gotten so lucky the last couple years. And I hate saying that because it kind of diminishes what they've done, but I look at the last AFCON, the easiest road to a final I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the best team they had to play was Egypt, and then they lose on pens.
Yeah.
You know? Qualifying against Algeria. They're dominated.
And they have great players
They're dominated. And then
they have great players.
They have great Toko Kambi, underrated player. Abubakar, Mr. AFCON, always scores. Chris Wu is like a very young
Martin,
who is also going to be missing. That's another big miss. I mean, they have some ballers, but I just feel like as a team, I feel like they've been playing hero ball. And it's been working, but I think their time's up.
Yeah.
I think their time's up. I mean, your luck has to run out eventually. And they have a very difficult group yet again.
They have a difficult group. And like I said, I don't know. I'm just like, I hope I'm wrong that all the wranglings.
Me too.
All the wranglings and squabbles and all the things going on behind the scene will not kind of impugn on their drive and ability to do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
So it's most likely going to affect them.
Right. How many times at AFCON have we seen the backroom stuff?
Exactly.
Or like I remember Ghana, was it 2018 World Cup? It was like
they
a
had
disaster.
To fly in money from Ghana to pay.
I mean,
cash.
It's just a disaster. and then they, you wonder why. Well, why did they make it out of the group? It's
exactly.
Like,
and what people miss is that in terms of like the money part, like these players, they are supposed to be wealthy and rich, but the human psyche cries. It's not happy when you're owing them. They're businessmen too. Businessmen, the richer they are, the less they are likely to let you go walk away with $1 from them. So they want their money. If you say you're gonna pay them, pay them. Don't owe them.
Of course,
don't assume they are wealthy. They don't need it. No.
Yeah. I mean, look. I'm sure every Cameroonian, Ghanaian, Nigerian is willing to die for their country, but not for free.
Exactly.
Not for free.
Or even if it's for free, let it be they that decide it's for free.
Exactly. Exactly. If Osimhen comes out, I don't need.
I don't need your money. Let me just do it for free. That's fine. But when you sit down and say we're gonna give you $3,
exactly.
Do that.
Exactly. When you say, okay, we just got $200,000.
That's all we have
as a bonus payment.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get 15,000 of that.
Exactly.
Give the man the 15,000.
Give the man the money. It doesn't matter. Simple. It doesn't matter if he earns $3 billion. It doesn't matter.
I know. It's the principle.
It's the mindset. They take you seriously.
We need to be running the Nigerian Federation. I think we would. You guys would win AFCON if we were in charge. This is ridiculous.
It is. Don't assume they don't need it. Even if they don't need it, it's the mindset. They operate in an environment where things are said and it's done. Instead of paying you 15, I only have $1. Will you take it? Yeah, I'll take $1. Yeah. And then tomorrow you say, I don't have the $1. What does that mean?
Well, and also I can't trust you anymore.
I can't trust you.
Because you said you were going to pay me $1. And then I tear my ACL.
It doesn't matter.
Happens?
It doesn't matter if I have $1 billion.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I was telling you in your art studio that rumor that Aliou Cisse hasn't been paid.
I was shocked.
For 6 months. We're talking about the African Championship champions and a team that made it to the round of 16 of the World Cup. So they got a bonus payment for that.
They got a bunch of money coming from
millions
FIFA.
From
yes.
Where did it go?
Well,
it's shocking.
It's hard for me to believe. I don't know the source.
Yeah, I didn't Google it either.
Yeah, I don't know. So I wouldn't say it's certain that that's what happened. But if it is, by any chance,
it's embarrassing.
It is not right.
No, it's not right.
It's not right.
He won you an AFCON.
Yeah, even if he lost.
Okay. Hey, great point. Great point. Maybe
even if he lost, it's the agreement.
It's still a slap in the face. Yeah, absolutely.
It's an agreement, and it affects the next person that will want to come up there.
Right.
It will deter people from stepping up if he goes away. I say I want to be the next coach, and then you look at the track record. They don't keep to what they say. The players show up. They may not perform at the best of their abilities all the time, but they show up. But you, that is supposed to be the backroom staff and do the right things, logistics, for support, training, all those things, they must come together for there to be success. And if each one, even the backroom staff, even the psychologist, even the trainer, pay him.
Yeah.
If you don't have money for him, don't hire him.
That's what I always think when I see that the Ayew brothers weren't paid or something. The first thing I think is
it doesn't make sense.
Was the chef paid? Because if the star player isn't getting paid, who
got paid?
The groundskeeper, he probably didn't get paid.
And these are countries.
These are countries, yes.
They're not struggling businessmen.
No,
that have ups and downs.
This is not my YouTube channel.
That have ups and downs and things.
No,
these are entities.
Yes.
Of a people.
Globally recognized entities.
Yes. of a people of a football association that's attached to FIFA and the global football community. There are no excuses.
The more we explain it, the worse it sounds. It is shocking. I do want to circle back to the big teams going out, because you said Cameroon. I think that's a phenomenal shout. My shout outside of Cameroon, and I hate to say it, maybe you love to hear it, but it's Ghana. I think Ghana are the most predictable offense of the big teams in AFCON. Because when I watch these guys, literally, all they do, long ball up top to Mohamed Kudus, and hope that he can beat four players off the dribble. Inaki Williams has been terrible. He's been terrible for Ghana. He's great for Bilbao. It just hasn't clicked yet.
They also have, to some extent, the issues Nigeria have with
I think so.
Administration. So that could be their Achilles heels. Yeah, it could be their downside. So other than that, maybe they may have a good break, a lucky break. The opposition wouldn't be that. I don't know. I wouldn't put them in my list of people to go first. Yeah.
I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable putting them in the list because I don't think they're as balanced as you guys are. And Thomas Partey's not playing. That's a big loss for them. Like, at least
they also don't have a great bench, coaching bench. They don't have that.
No.
They have very good players.
They do have very good players,
but they don't have,
especially attacking wise.
Yeah, they don't have that.
But I mean, I look at the back line, and I mean, Mohamed Salisu's good player. I think his name's Jiku is how you pronounce it. Decent, but I don't even think they have the back line depth of Nigeria. No, they don't have an Olaina. They don't have a full. I mean, they have Tariq Lamptey.
Partey not being there is a big setback.
It's a big. I mean, you cannot be missing not only the best midfielder on the team, but the leader on the team as well. That's massive. And I look at this team, and I had to open my calendar app. I had to check that it's 2024, and Ghana are still reliant on Andre Ayew to score goals. I mean, it is shocking. Yeah. Again, how is this possible? How is Uzoho the starting goalkeeper for Nigeria, and how is Andre Ayew still pivotal for Ghana?
Yeah, it's a sentimental thing for them, being the children of
it has to
it is sentimental.
It has to be.
It also helps galvanize their emotions, probably.
I think he's a leader for sure.
Yeah.
Like Trustek Kong, maybe
when they see him there and have his presence there, it kind of lends back to a time in their past that they were great.
Yeah.
So he's like a bridge that connects that past to the present. So they don't want to let go.
He's a spiritual leader.
Yeah,
he's like a shaman.
Yeah, he's sentimental. Yes. He's sentimental. That's the main thing. He's sentimental.
That I respect. Yeah. But I remember at AFCON 2021. Watching Andre Ayew is one of the most frustrating things I've ever seen. I mean, and look, prime Andre Ayew.
Because every coach that comes still want to have him there.
Course.
Yeah.
Of course. And then you got Jordan at left, you got Andre in the middle, and it's just like, oh my gosh, what are we doing?
Right.
When really the front three, I feel like it's got to be Iñaki Kudus and maybe Semenyo from Bournemouth. Like, find a way for that guy to start.
Right.
It just, they look like they're out of ideas. I think they are out of ideas.
That guy in Leverkusen, Frimpong.
Is
he? I don't know if he's qualified to play for Ghana.
That's a great question. I don't know.
Because that guy is a talent.
I'm gonna check right now. I don't know if he made the official squad.
I don't know if he's playing for another. I don't remember if he's playing for another country.
I'm looking right now. Mohamed Kudus,
that guy is
Bukhari,
amazing.
Antoine Semenyo, Jonathan Sowa. No.
And I don't know. They didn't invite.
No Frimpong.
I don't know why Schlupp is not there too.
Jeffrey Schlupp? I don't know. Probably because Andre Ayew's there. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. And their goalkeeper, Walacott, that man's a liability. That man is a liability.
I think their options or their potential is always 50-50. They could spring surprise and they could disappoint.
Yes.
It's a coin toss. If I put it like that, you flip it, whatever you get, you take. Yeah, so we'll see.
You made a really good point at the beginning of this podcast. You said, I don't like to look to the past. I don't like to say that just because it happened last time, it means it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Or just because it's never happened means it won't ever happen.
Exactly.
Because in my predictions video, I had Nigeria third. And still going through, but Nigeria third. And somebody left a comment and was like, basically, it was like, you're an idiot. Nigeria haven't finished third since
1990
something.
Oh, come on.
And I was like, brother, just because it might have been 25
things change every minute. Every minute, and you're talking about 25 years.
Talking about the 1980s as a rebuttal to my point.
It doesn't follow.
I'm like, well, maybe Nigeria haven't been this vulnerable and in a group this good since 1994 or whenever the AFCON was that he was.
It's like there's a drought over a land. It's not rained for 7 years. And then one day it rains. Are you going to say, no, it's never going to rain because for 7 years it never rained forever?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
One day it will rain.
Yes. Yes.
And that 7 years will be a part of memory.
Right.
So that's how everything is.
Right.
Every day they break records in soccer and in everything. Yeah. Meaning that something will not last forever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you just use the conditions, the tools, the elements you have currently to apply to certain other conditions, and then you can pursue a little bit of prediction to see the outcome. So you look at the table, who does Nigeria have now? What is this? Where does this fit in? Are they getting enough support and things like that? You have to isolate it from history. History is history, it's in the past. Yeah. It could be relevant to the present, but it doesn't determine or guarantee the present. And it's not part of the assurance that the future will be in a certain way. You can only take a little bit of reference from it and then use all the things you have, and then you can compute and have a very verifiable outcome.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Because it's like saying Egypt had the most AFCONs.
Yeah. Exactly. So they will win it forever.
They're going to win again. It's like, that's not how you have a football discussion. That's not how sports work. Yeah, exactly. Much less, anything
they
else
may not smell it again in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Or they may win it tomorrow.
Right.
There's nothing to say that it has to be like this because of the history. No.
Right. Right. I mean, how good are Ghana historically? And they haven't won in decades.
Yeah.
That's just how it is, So I think the last thing that we should talk about is we talked about Morocco and how they have a target on their back. Who do you think is a team coming into AFCON that is being slept on or disrespected or simply not discussed the most that you think could do something? I kind of had my Algeria shout, but I actually have a team that I think is a better nominee. Yeah. For this,
I think Equatorial Guinea.
I love that answer.
Equatorial Guinea is underrated a lot.
Extremely.
Yeah, they've moved from a place of disrespect or lacking in technical abilities and strategies to a place now that they could really stand up to anybody. We're not used to them. We're used to all the flamboyant countries that we used to be part of the elite group of AFCON. But there are new people that are coming in that have found a way to push their way to the table. Equatorial Guinea is one of them. Yeah, I think they're gonna surprise people. Yeah, and they're in Nigeria's group. So. Oh yeah,
it's gonna be a big game for y'all.
Yeah, so because I've seen a lot of their games and they keep surprising me. They keep surprising me.
They keep the score close. Yes. Even if they lose, it's a 1-0, to Tunisia.
Yeah.
They beat Tunisia recently as well.
Yeah.
They have a very good squad.
They have a very good squad. I'd be surprised if they don't shake the foundation of AFCON this time around. They will shake things.
I think that's
They'll shake that tree and something could fall off.
Something will fall. Coconut's going to crack on your head. I think that's a great answer. You guys in the comments let us know the sleeper team for AFCON. That's a phenomenal shout. If I'm going like 3,000 ball IQ, like I'm really doing a hipster pick here, this scares me to say, but I'm going to say DR Congo.
Yeah. That's another one, yeah.
If I'm going with the safe, the layup, the free throw, and maybe this is cheating. You tell me this is cheating. I will say Ivory Coast. I will say Ivory Coast. They're the hosts.
They're the hosts.
And nobody cares whatsoever. And they have that squad, keeper to striker, very balanced.
They have great talents.
Yes.
But one thing I notice is that they have over the years consistently underperformed.
Yeah.
Every time you watch their names on paper, they're up there. But they've always separated themselves from expectation. Their outcomes always are below. So people got used to that. So they have to change that mindset for people to always put them up there again.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon to hear them like, because they have a highlight, they have all these players and things, and then they don't make it.
Yeah.
It's happened a lot of times.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
they're also very capable of being upset, which has happened a lot historically. At AFCON, I don't even know what their best showing at the World Cup was. I don't think they ever made it out of the group.
They always have important and interesting players that have potential, but it's always, I don't know.
No, I agree. I don't think Ivory Coast is gonna win the entire thing, but I think they could make a semifinal, because the difference, in my opinion, between Ivory Coast 2012 and Ivory Coast today is everybody expected Ivory Coast 2012 to win. Everybody said, "What? You have Drogba, Gervinho, Yaya Toure, Kolo Toure. You better win.
Exactly.
You better win," and then lose in the finals.
Yeah.
This team, I mean, Sebastian Haller doesn't have the global recognition of Drogba. They have Nicolas Pepe, who.
But he's a very significant.
He's so good. He's so good for Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah. He helped them a lot in the qualifiers that I watched. It's always when he's there, he makes things happen. He's a game changer.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And that midfield is good too.
Yeah, going away from their individual greats and legends like Toure, Drogba, as a team, they've always not met expectations, for one thing or the other. Yeah. So
I wonder if that was a generational thing with Ivory Coast, or if it's will what you're saying, the tendency to underperform, is that going to continue with this kind of new era Ivory Coast? I don't know.
Yes.
I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I think so. The only thing that can give them a lift, can keep them up there right now as the top 6 in terms of getting, is because they're hosting it. So
right.
Okay. When you're hosting, you have a lot of, it's like you have a 12th man in the field playing. So it will help them. That drive to please their people and not disappoint can take them a notch above where they always end up.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's a factor. It's
absolutely
hosting.
You're right. So when I think of the teams that I think are going to overperform or kind of move in the shadows, Algeria, I think that AFCON could be in South Africa, and Algeria are still going to do something. If the AFCON was in Egypt, do I think Ivory Coast, would they be one of my favorites? Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
They may even struggle to qualify.
Yeah.
And that's not because they lack the quality. They always have some of the best quality on the continent.
Yeah.
But something always
interesting
hold them back. They become this giant that underachieves. The giant that underachieves. So Nigeria has fallen into that trap now.
Yeah.
They're like the giant that underachieves.
Yeah.
So it used to be Cote d'Ivoire all these years and things, but Nigeria has now, So another country that I may think that may surprise people is Cape Verde.
Yeah.
Cape Verde, they're very resilient and tactical.
Okay.
So.
You like the island nations.
Well, I didn't think about that. Now you say it. Yeah.
They have a good team too.
Yeah.
Very good team. They're in Ghana's group. They could beat Ghana.
Yeah.
For sure.
They could. They're very resilient.
Yes.
Even if they don't beat you, it's hard to beat them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Extremely.
So
I have them finishing second.
Hold on and then do one thing and score one.
Yeah.
This. Yeah. So it's great seeing how African teams have emerged from the shadows. I remember in 1974, Brazil beat Congo 12-0, 11-0, stuff like that.
Jeez.
So going from that point to where now they are able to sustain themselves and display their talent in the presence of the best or in competition with the best is a great stride that these countries have made. And having individual players who play in good leagues all over the world come back home to help the national team elevate and lift up, it's just the best thing for not just African soccer but for the world soccer. Because what it has done is that when the tide rises, every boat is lifted. So it has lifted the quality of soccer all over the world. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's why people don't understand why upsets are so common at AFCON.
Oh, exactly.
It's because all these teams, Tanzania, Mauritania, they're getting better.
Exactly.
And they're starting to get players in Europe.
Exactly.
And they can beat Nigeria. They can beat Algeria if they have a good game. And I think that's why that's why I love AFCON and the Asian Cup. It's just there's just upsets all the time, and it just makes it very exciting as a viewer. And I feel like all the fan bases, I feel like all of them have like at least a little glimmer of hope.
Yeah,
you know, even Mozambique, I'm sure are going into this tournament like we could get 4 points in the group.
And again, maybe I'll diverge a little bit from what we're talking about. I'll just make a point that covers the entire experience of soccer or football. So the emergence or the application of VAR, in my opinion, has helped soccer. Initially, people thought it was going to impede on the process, on the speed, on the pace, delay. But there is nothing like having an outcome where you think everything was fair, even if it was delayed. So while we're saying there's all these countries that are doing well now, and then if you look at all the global results in soccer, more teams are winning away games now in every league than ever, because it no longer resides on the shoulder of the referee to determine who wins or not. There is now a check that you can go to somebody's pitch, play well, score a goal, past, they will deny it because you're the visitor. But with the VAR now, they can check and award it to you, and you walk out with a win for an away game. So that has changed the game, and that also have helped those African countries that don't have the might or the presence or the power of African AFC and FIFA and all those things to really express themselves and get good results. So overall, that also has played into the narrowing of power and expression in terms of the dynamics of big teams and small teams. So it's just a point that I always wanted to make and believe in.
No, I totally agree with you, to be honest. I think VAR is probably, like you said, eliminated both like corruption but also honest refereeing mistakes. You know?
And there are flaws to it.
Of course.
Just like in every new thing. When we invented air flight, it was crashing. Eventually it was fine-tuned. Just like every new technology, everything will have to have that initial doubt. Is it working? There's a debate now whether it's really working. But think about it. How it has elevated the outcomes where people would have done things, especially referees, even the betting industry in Asia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's for another day. But those things
now next podcast.
Have been minimized. Because when people look at VAR, even if the game is stopped for a couple of minutes, they look at it, it's clear. And it's awarded or cancelled. Because a goal is scored, someone is offside. I think is leading us to a better place.
I agree completely.
It's not perfect now. Just like every new technology we have.
We'll get there.
Yeah, everything that comes around. The first few years of few moments, there's always challenges. But eventually we kind of smooth the wrinkles and it gets better. So I think that's good.
I totally agree. Chu, I think we're going to end it there.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming back on and
doing
this
God,
again.
I'm so honored.
We're going to have this won't be your last appearance on Deadbolt TV. Guys, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you leave a like, drop your comments down below in the comment section. I will put Chu's links to his artwork, of course. I'll pin it to the comment of this video if you guys want to check it out. He's the best artist in Houston. Will be famous one day. I keep on saying that. So get his art now before it becomes too expensive. Give the podcast a 5-star rating for listening on streaming platforms. Subscribe for more AFCON content, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Peace.